What is wrong with us and why it matters? How would you answer this one? When I prepare people for marriage, I ask them this question. And I also give them the biblical answer. It is our sin. Yes, our sin. And some are puzzled. What has this ancient idea, this obsolete concept of sin to do with our relationships and our marriages today in 21st century? And we could say everything, or at least a lot. We as society have forgotten what sin is and what effect it has on us. And what is worse, not only society, many churches have forgotten, or at least they keep silent about the reality of sin, perhaps with good intentions. The metaphor of terminal disease is quite fitting to illustrate the danger of such forgetfulness or silence. Imagine that someone has a terminal disease. If you hide it from them, regardless of your intentions, and pretend that everything is fine, it does not help them, not at all. If you don't know what is wrong with you, how could you ever hope to deal with it? One of the misunderstandings that we have today is that human beings are intrinsically good. We just need to let this inner goodness grow in us and blossom. Perhaps such people haven't had children yet, or don't know anything about history, as recent as 20th century history. But this false assumption has led to the situation where everything we desire in our hearts, whatever strange or harmful it may be, is considered natural. Yes, natural. For we are good, aren't we? We have not yet gotten to the stage where we accept everything as good, but we are well on our way. Now, what we will do in this session, part 1, we will learn what Scripture teaches us about the topic of sin. And then in part 2, we will learn why and how it matters in our relationships, in our marriages. What does the Christian worldview teach us about what is wrong with us? What does it teach about our sin? And I'll read you these two passages, Matthew 15, 19-20. And this is Jesus speaking. And he said, "Are you also still without understanding? Do you not see that whatever goes into the mouth passes into the stomach and is expelled? But what comes out of the mouth proceeds from the heart, and this defiles a person. For out of the heart come evil thoughts, murder, adultery, sexual immorality, theft, false witness, slander. These are what defile a person." And Romans 3, 10-12. And this is Paul the Apostle. "None is righteous. No, not one understands. No one seeks for God. All have turned aside. Together they have become worthless. No one does good, not even one." This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. As you can see, both Jesus and Paul the Apostle speak about the state of our hearts, not our actions, not what we say or think. They speak about the state of our very hearts. What are they talking about? So let us use this illustration. In different audiences, I have asked for a volunteer. Volunteer for what? Just wait. Do you know what NASA is? National Aeronautics and Space Agency. And neurological research is one of their interests. And their new cutting-edge gadget can read the activity of your brain and translate your thoughts in real time to the computer screen as a movie. And you cannot exactly buy such a device on eBay. A friend of mine who works for NASA, he helped me to get one of these. And now all I need is a volunteer who would be happy to reveal all their thoughts for others to see them for a half an hour or so. Can you guess what people's usual reaction is when I ask for a volunteer? Yes, right. Laughing, fidgeting. But why? Because we know that if someone saw what we carry inside, perhaps we should leave that town or that country. And this is of course a made-up story, but it is a great illustration. And what does this illustration tell us? What does it reveal to us? British journalist Malcolm Muggeridge is credited with this quote: "The depravity of man is at once the most empirically verifiable reality, but at the same time the most intellectually resisted fact." Isn't that strange? But this simple illustration with the NASA reveals it to us so clearly that there is something deep in us, some deep and dark power that we do not control, that we cannot fully control. Let us do something else. Let us reflect on these questions. Do we control our thoughts? Only from the moment they have already come to us. We know that many are foolish, embarrassing, shameful, or purely evil. Did we choose them? Did we invite them in? Where did they come from? From our good and pure hearts? Think of what Jesus said. Then second, emotions. Do we control our emotions? Think about the bouquet that we may experience among others. Envy, jealousy, hatred, anger. Do we like them? Do we choose them? Where do they come from? Third, the same about our desires. Do we control our desires? Do you? Lust, passions, cravings, they just spring up in our hearts and minds and they just appear. And then we need to deal with them. And we spend our lifetime trying to master our control over them. And at the end of our lives, we still fail. That's us, me and you. That's how Christian worldview reveals us our sinful condition. A good question to ask is this: if the biblical answer to what is wrong with us, namely our sin, shows us in such a bad light that we are sinners through and through, how come that there still are so many good people out there? And it is easy to answer. Just think about all the efforts that are poured in to make us into good people, at least externally. We do not know how to behave well when we are born, so that's for sure. First, parents teach us to control ourselves when we are small, when we are little. Do this, don't do that. And then we all have our God-given conscience, this voice inside us that speaks up when we want to do something wrong or don't want to do what we are supposed to do. And then society gets set guidelines and expectations when we grow up, if we want to fit in, be accepted and belong somewhere. And then law restraints and threaten us as adults. All these work in a restrictive way to prevent us from doing what we just may want in our hearts, in our minds. But also, on the positive side, good behavior is generally rewarded in society, praised. It opens many doors, gives you many benefits. Thus, we have all those, we could say, chains around our hearts to restrain the evil potential that we carry inside. And we still often fail. And thus our thoughts and desires, emotions, the whole bouquet that Jesus listed may be locked in deep, but they are not gone. They are with us, in us. And sometimes they do come out. Okay, but what is this sin, as seen through Christian glasses? Just very briefly. We need to understand that biblically speaking, sin at the fundamental level is our condition. And only then it manifests itself in actions, in a variety of ways. So let us list just a few of them. This tragic condition manifests in so many ways in our daily lives, as ignorance about the true God, and as willful rejection of the true God, as not knowing who we truly are, how precious we are, and for what great responsibilities we are created, as selfishness, as self-centeredness, when the main focus in our lives is on me, as foolishness, when we return to the same harmful patterns of behavior again and again. It manifests as misplaced trust and hopes and expectations, when we expect to find fulfillment to our deep longings in wrong places, where they cannot be found, as misplaced loyalties and priorities and so on and on. And by the way, all of these may also hurt our relationships, our marriages. And it is important to know what is wrong with us. Only then we can look for a remedy.